Hi friends, it's Amy. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my January 2021 reading wrap up. I am very excited to share all the books that I read with you today, that I read this month with you today. I read 20 books and I loved every single one of them in various degrees, but I didn't give a single book less than 4 stars this month. And I don't know if I was just super into everything that I was reading and I just didn't feel like giving anything less than 4 stars, but I didn't. So let's get to it. I started out the month really strong with A Better Man by Louise Penny, and this is her Inspector Gamache series. It is fabulous, wonderful, and I am almost caught up. I have to read The Devils Are Here Yet, and I'm on the waiting list at the library to get it. I've been listening to all of them because they're fabulous on audio, and they're just full of this lush, beautiful description that I would absolutely skim through if I wasn't listening to it on audio. And I do listen to them at a fairly fast pace, but I would still probably skim through them faster if I was reading a physical copy. So I prefer to read it or listen to it, read it in my earbuds. The next book that I read was Two Night Owl from Dogfish by Holly Goldberg Sloan and Meg Wolitzer. And this is a middle grade book that has some Parent Trap vibes that are wonderful. Two girls that whose dads want them to meet and want them to be friends. And they're like, hold up, nope, don't want to. And their dads don't care. So it is an epistolary novel. I started it at 10 o'clock at night and I was done within a couple hours and could not figure out where I was. It was wonderful. It's so engaging and just beautiful, and the characters are just wonderful. I then went back to one of my favorite series, the Cookies and Chance Mysteries, and I read the first 3 and then I read 7 through 9, which is weird. So I missed 4, 5, and 6, and I can count. I missed 4, 5, and 6, and I thought I want to go back and I want to read all of these. So Frosted with Revenge is the first one of the cozy mystery Cookies and Chance Mysteries by Catherine Bruns. Sally the baker, her best friend Josie, who helps her run the business, and just a quirky cast of characters that I just love. It's one of my favorite cozy series, and this is number 4. So you're going to see 4, 5, and 6 on this wrap up. Starlight Bridge by Debbie Mason is the second book in the Harmony Harbor series, and a book twin of mine steered me toward Debbie Mason, and the actual book that she recommended wasn't available, but this one was. And so the first one in the series was, and it kind of has this mystery arc that goes into the second book. So I was like, I'm going to pick that up right away too. And I loved it. It's just a sweet romance that takes place and it just takes your breath away. And it's really fun. I liked the second book more than I liked the first book. I did like the first book, but the second book is really good. And then I got The Daydream Cabin by Carolyn Brown. And I borrowed this from Kindle Unlimited because I wanted a book for the Buzzword-a-thon, and hosted by Books and Lala. And the buzzword this month is dream. So The Daydream Cabin fit the bill. And it is a romance about an educator who finds herself during the summer at a camp for juvenile delinquent young girls. And it is wonderful. I just love seeing her as an educator and interacting with the girls. And there's so much that I saw in her that I want to see in myself as an educator. And it just was really uplifting to me. And I really enjoyed the romance in it. So it was a good one. I read with my 5th graders, The Phantom Tollbooth. They didn't love it, but I loved it. I think they felt like there was too much explanation that they needed. And because there's so many wonderful puns in this book, but I still loved it. Silenced by Sugar, again, is the second of the 3 books I read in this series. It is the 5th book in the Cookies and Chance mystery series by Catherine Bruns. And this one takes Sal and Josie to a TV show. And the producer of the TV, or the assistant to the host of the TV show, ends up dead. And Josie and the assistant did not get along. So all signs point towards her. It was fun. Gone to the Woods by Gary Paulsen is his brand new memoir that came out in January, on January 5th. It was heartbreaking, but beautifully written. And you could see where Gary Paulsen's love of nature came through and where his inspiration from Hatchet came. And it was fabulous. I really liked it a lot. It was very hard to read. It's supposed to be a middle grade. I don't know that I would hand it to a younger middle grade, but I would definitely give it to my 7th and 8th grade boys. I don't have any 8th grade boys this year. I might, yeah, but I would definitely give it to 7th and 8th grade boys and older, maybe 6, depending on how much they can handle. It goes from Gary Paulsen at age 5 to Gary Paulsen at age 20 when he's in the Army. And the later years get a little bit more mature, but not anything inappropriate. But it was just a beautiful book. I had it as a galley, and I got it from the library right away so that I could push it into the hands of my 7th grade boys. I will be getting a copy for my classroom at some point. I just haven't done it yet. Next was The Tourist Attraction. I listened to this because my sister told me to, and it is a wonderful romp through Alaska. So atmospheric, so wonderful, so beautiful. I just loved it. I can't wait for book 2. There's a super long wait at the library. After I listened to that, I listened to Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. This has been all over Bookstagram. It was all over Booktube. It was Reese Witherspoon pick, I think, if I can see that correctly on there. It was a very fun book. It was a very thoughtful, like it just brought in a lot of thought. It made me think a lot. I don't really know how to say that. It made me think a lot about how I sometimes think that I might be doing something helpful, but really I'm just being super insulting. And that is a really hard pill to swallow, but also a really important one to swallow. So it was a really good book, and I absolutely recommend it. And then I had an ARC of Mindbending Murder by Leslie Langtry. And this is the 17th book in the Mary Rath mystery series. It's Cozy Mystery Series by Gemma Halliday Publishing. It is fabulous. I just crack up in every single installment of this series. Mary Rath was a CIA agent who was outed for political reasons, and she had to retire. And when she retired, she became a Girl Scout leader. And I was a Girl Scout. I'm a Girl Scout Gold Award recipient. I love the Girl Scouts. I loved Girl Scout camp. Worked there for 2 summers. And Girl Scouts has a place in my heart, and it always will, no matter how mad I get at some of the decisions they make sometimes. I just laugh hysterically at every one of these. It's so ridiculous, so out there, and it's absolutely on purpose. It's definitely not something that you're supposed to take completely serious, but it's so funny. More Myself by Alicia Keys was a wonderful memoir. I listened to this after Such a Fun Age, and it was amazing. She narrates it herself. In it, she has special guests that come in and talk about her, which I'm assuming are in the book as well. She has lyrics to her song, and she explains some of the lyrics to her song. She tells her story. She's real and honest and powerful. She sings and plays piano, and it's just so good. I absolutely recommend it on audio. If you can find it, I absolutely have no doubt that it would be fabulous in print as well. Amal Unbound, I read with my 8th graders. I love this story. I love the fact that it is set in Pakistan. I love sharing it with them because to them, it reads like a historical fiction book because they can't imagine a world in which a girl couldn't go to school and or would be forced to stay home to babysit her sisters. But that's exactly what happens to Amal. They can't fathom a world in which Amal could be taken from her world and forced to work in a home of the landlord of her village. And that's exactly what happens. And it really grabbed them. And it was nothing like something that they normally would pick up on their own, but they all enjoyed it. And it was really good. It was a reread for me. The Midnight Library has such a special place in my heart. Currently reading podcast, recommended this over and over and over again. It blew up Instagram. It blew up Booktube. It blew up everywhere. And for good reason. It was wonderful. It really had me thinking about the choices that I make in life and how one little choice can change everything and make me a completely different person. And it was so cool to see how Matt Haig imagined Nora's life changing with the different decisions that she made, and things that you wouldn't expect to make a difference do, and things that you expect to make a difference don't, and vice versa. And it's wonderful. I really enjoyed this book. Then I read Wishtree by Katherine Applegate. One of my students gave this to me, or handed this to me after she read it in November and told me that I needed to read it. And I wanted to, but I didn't get to it until now. It is so good. I'm so mad at myself for waiting as long as I did. It comes to us from the point of view of a very old tree, and people in the community hang their wishes on her every May 1st. And the owner of the land the tree is on would like to stop having to pay for the upkeep of the tree. And there are other deeper issues about welcoming new neighbors and prejudice and all of those things, all told through the point of view of a tree and the animals that live there. It's humorous and it's heartfelt and it's just beautiful. And I cannot recommend it enough. The third of the Cookies and Chance mystery series that I read, Crumbled to Pieces, brings Sally and Josie to Las Vegas. It's really fun and everything a cozy mystery should be. This one was a treat. I love the Friends in Fiction Facebook page and their YouTube channel. I love watching on Wednesday nights all of their broadcasts and their interviews. And Mary Alice Monroe is just a wonderful person to listen to. And she wrote Second Star to the Right, which was inspired by Peter Pan. And she took the story and imagined it being real, and what happened to the Lost Boys that decided they didn't want to grow up, and what happened to Wendy. And she answers those two questions in this beautiful way. I listened to it because she, as the narrator, is just wonderful. And it's so cool to be able to hear it, how the author wants it to be heard and read. And it was really beautiful. And I love the story of Peter Pan just the idea of Peter Pan, the imagination of Peter Pan. And I just really, really enjoyed listening to it. And I feel like it's a book that I would like to get in print and read in print because it's just really fun. So thank you, library. The third to last book that I read was Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Tenny O. And I was supposed to have this done by the 22nd of January for book club, and I didn't. It was very embarrassing, but my book club, thankfully, is not the kind of people that will tar and feather you. But this book is so good. It's 544 pages, which is why it took me so long to read. I didn't start reading it soon enough. I started reading it like a day before I had to. And so I didn't have enough time, but I did promise myself that I was going to finish this in January, and I did with a day to spare, but it's beautiful. It's a young adult novel. It is a group of 6 19 and 20-year-olds who just graduated from an elite school, Dalton Academy, that specializes in training astronauts for a special mission to Terra 2, which is a planet 23 years, like it would take 23 years to get there. I don't really know the distance wise, but it would take 23 years to get there. And they've been chosen, these 6 kids have been chosen to be on this mission. And they basically just say goodbye to their life and they get on and they have to interact with each other. They're stuck with the 6 of them and 4 senior officers who are basically going to, die on the way there or shortly thereafter. And I mean, could likely, whatever, but it's so good. Chaos ensues in the most wonderful way, and not wonderful as in good, but wonderful as in engaging to read. I didn't want to stop reading this, and frankly, I didn't really want the book to end. It was so good. And I put down this book in order to read that book. And so I'm really glad that I got to finish this in January. It's This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. It is based on Quinn and Minnie, who were both born on January 1st, minutes apart. Quinn was recognized as the first baby born in 1990 in a London hospital, and Minnie just missed it. Her life after that is filled with almost. She almost gets all of these recognitions, but she never quite feels like she's able to succeed. And she blames it all on the fact that she didn't get this award the day she was born. It's a little bit of a far-fetched start, but it just all comes together really nicely. I love Minnie. I love Quinn. I love how Quinn helps Minnie see life from different perspectives. I love how Minnie helps Quinn see life from different perspectives. And I really love their love story. It's a rom-com that can't really be a spoiler, right? It's beautiful. And I thought that was going to be my last read of the month, but then I picked up this beautiful book to start, and I didn't stop. This is When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jameson and Omar Mohammed, and it is so good. It is a graphic novel memoir of Omar and his brother Hassan. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Hassan has some developmental issues, and Omar is very much in charge of making sure that he's okay. They are in a refugee camp in Kenya from Somalia, and it's just so beautiful. And I've said beautiful so much in this wrap up, and I don't even care. It's wonderful. Katie Proctor recommended this to me. She is a wonderful friend, bookish friend of the Currently Reading podcast. So I saw this on one of her posts and decided to pick it up. And I'm so glad I did because it's so wonderful. I love how beautiful this cover is, and I love how beautiful this story is. And there I go saying beautiful again. I don't know what to tell you. So that's it. That's what I read for a total of 20 books, 6,136 pages, 13 adult, 1 YA, 6 middle grade, 7 physical, 5 digital, and 8 audio, which is definitely within my goal. I always want to read more digital and physical combined than I read audio. And that is definitely what I did. And an average rating of 4.5 stars. I'm super excited to be caught up with the Cookies and Chance mysteries. And I'm very excited that I am down to my last Three Pines book, but that also makes me really sad because I don't want to be almost done with the series. But I can't wait to read All the Devils Are Here by Louise Penny whenever it comes available at the library. And I am very excited for the next book after that, which is coming in August, that I will hopefully have read All the Devils Are Here when it comes out, but then I'll have to wait for that one too. So it's okay. But the really excited thing, the thing that I was really excited about is that my average page number was 306 pages. And I'm really excited about that because I tend to gravitate towards shorter books. And 306 pages is not by any means a long book, but it's not by any means a short book. So I was really excited that I had that. So, and I got a bullet journal, and I'm really excited about that. So that's why I needed to use it. So that is my wrap up. I hope that you heard about some really great books that maybe you want to read or maybe you want to chat about down in the comments. I would love to chat with you. Have a wonderful night. Bye. Happy reading.